From deep in the heart of Central Texas, it's the Best of the Outdoors podcast with Dustin Vaughn Warnke. Brought to you by Grim Reaper Broadheads. Watch 'em drop. Gold Tip, the toughest arrow you'll ever shoot. Gilly Monster Outdoors and Vapor Trail Outdoors. World-class hunting and fishing products. Striper Express. With Bill and Chris Carey on Lake Texoma. Vineyard Max Deer Products. And Warnke Enterprises, your full-stack digital and media production marketing agency with a specialty in the outdoors.
All right, I'm sitting here with Camille Knowles. This is Dustin Vaughn Warnke, the Best of the Outdoors podcast. For those of you watching on video, say hi to Camille Knowles. There you go. She is a incredible woman from what I've noticed so far.
Thank you.
It's nothing but high caliber people here. People who are very high caliber. Excuse the pun, or maybe not. But the thing is, like, there's nothing but high frequency people here.
Yeah,
I'm into all the metaphysical stuff. So, you know, and that's who I like to share mental intelligence with. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get too far into low frequency outdoors people, it's just not as much fun. You know, I like talking more about wild sheep hunting and you know, saving the wild sheep because they're beautiful to look at. I don't care if I ever crawl a mountain and, you know, up into a slope or whatever and, you know, sneak into position. It's about how beautiful they are, how beautiful all wildlife is.
And how we want to keep them around.
Exactly. And so tell us a little bit about your background, who you're here representing, who you're repping the block for.
Okay.
And help us understand more about what's up.
Okay. So I work for Heroes on the Water. I'm the director of volunteer programs.
I just picked up some of your stickers on the table over there, by the way.
Good. Awesome. And we take veterans, first responders, and their families kayak fishing.
Oh my gosh.
And it sounds pretty simple.
That's where the kayak whistles came from then, right?
Exactly.
Oh, how cool. I love this. So yes, tell me about it, because I've got some kayak knowledge from you that I want to explore with you. I love this. Keep talking.
Okay. All right. So we are a national nonprofit. So we right now have 55 chapters, volunteer-led chapters in 27 states. We do cover a good bit of Texas, but we are constantly looking for new communities to go into to serve the veterans and first responders in those communities. So we could always be bigger.
Oh, I understand that, but I mean, that always be bigger, always be better, but at the same time, you know, what wonderful work you're doing.
Thank you.
I am really big about, my listeners know this, but I mean, Crosswater Outfitters was my first outdoor outfitting ministry where we kind of carried the cross of representing the cross of Christ. That's what the cross waters. We cross many waters, represent the cross of Christ. But either way, the mission, vision, and purpose and vision, you know, statement of that, whatever you want to call it, is very much about feeding the sheep, like giving help to those in need. So in a lot of what we do in that fishing ministry is helping wounded soldiers as they're exiting the military and their families. We used to just take soldiers early on when I started, and I've been part of it like 12 years on and off. And so, but the thing is, I still host a website. I still try to do social media stuff, and like they're just great men. And it's just being around high frequency people doing jug fishing for catfish, which is the simplest way to catch a catfish. But the whole idea is it's intimacy with nature. It's intimacy with the outdoors. Exactly. It is a type of intimacy we cannot explain. And the thing is, because it's with what's all around us. It's with our environment that we're native to. Right. And that's but again, the ministerial part of what I do and the things that I support with my volunteer time, same concept you've got.
Right. And you don't just serve those that serve, because the whole family unit serves.
Absolutely. That's exactly right with that event with the soldiers. Yes, we serve. Everybody pays a cost for them to be in the military that surrounds them. Their parents worry about them at night, you know, like I said, and all the way up, you know, to the grandparents in some cases. But these guys will come off the water after, you know, 2 days of fishing, jug fishing. As soon as they arrive, they go out on a boat, dinner, and everything like that. Sometime I used to sing live music. You know, I do live solo sets. I need to practice again, but I'm not doing that these days. But basically, you know, I would also be the fish cleaning crew. And I noticed something. I got to tell you real quick. When it comes to doing not NP, just like Heroes on Water, the whole thing around anything like this is that if you make it sound like work, nobody wants to show up, right? Nobody wants to show up if it sounds like work. So one of the guys, I was in charge of the fish cleaning, sometimes having to do 300 catfish and have 4 people helping me. And I'm stuck there till dinner, because I'm filleting dinner. We eat the fish, we have a fish fry of what we catch. And then we called it a party. We called it the fish frying party.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, everybody wants to show up to a party. Everybody wants to be there. And we called it what we had, and you're going to love this, the fish disassembly line.
There you go.
Now, look, you go back to the fishers of men and the whole thing of Jesus and what we represent, and I'm sitting there going, the fish disassembly. God assembled them and let them get bigger, and now we're disassembling them to eat them. I don't know. Stuff like that makes me laugh.
It does. Well, and you're right. When it comes to Heroes on the Water and it comes to our volunteers, I encourage them, actually require a 4-man team to start a new chapter for that very reason. Spread the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
But a lot of the people that we have volunteer for us want to give back to this community for various different reasons.
Right.
It's a passion for them. And we want everybody to have the opportunity to participate and to give back.
Everybody that can, everybody that, and that's the thing, but I don't know who feels better on the end of that. The people you help or the satisfaction and the gratitude. This is why I'm big about doing any type of ministry, whatever ministry is in your life, your own personal time, talent, and treasure you give to something that is bigger than you will ever be. There's power in that.
And that's the feedback that I get from our volunteers is I do this as much for them as I do it for myself.
Absolutely.
And we
that's relatable too.
Yeah. We especially see that with our first responders. Mm-hmm. They're the first ones to say, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good. But I'd love to volunteer."
Oh.
I don't care how I get
Here
in.
you've got firemen helping, I see where that's going, is that you've got people that say, I don't want to be served, I want to serve.
Serve, exactly.
And think about servant leadership, which a lot of people, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, during his time, he was a servant leader. I thought about the other day, for some reason, an image popped in my mind of him, the story of him washing the hands and feet of his disciples, him bending to them to wash. And their feet back then, all they had was thong sandals made out of hemp rope, and their hands, they've been in the field all day. They have been in the outdoors nonstop for probably a few days before those things got washed. Right. those tentacles and everything, all of our different extremities, get dirty as we work, as we're outdoors. Mm-hmm. And here is a man that's a leader of 12 men washing the feet and the hands of the ones that served him.
Yeah.
And so that's what that reminded me of. I didn't mean to derail the train here, folks.
You're right. It's about what do you need, and what do you get out of whether you're a participant or you're a volunteer. It's the same for us. Yeah. We want to provide that opportunity to get them what they need, to give them the reset, the confidence,
sure.
the self-confidence, that peace of mind.
Right.
It helps with relationships. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They communicate better with their family and others after being involved, whether it's participating or volunteering. We've proven that. We have a study that actually proves that. And we want to serve them. We know what being out on the water does.
Yeah.
There's some of us that grew up mm-hmm. being out on the water, outdoors, hunting, fishing, whatever. Some don't.
You're right.
And we want to give them the opportunity to feel that peace. And again, this is no charge. I'd rather take them fishing than have the VA put a pill on it.
Exactly. I mean, when outdoor can be therapy where you don't need medication therapy.
Right. Right.
And I see such, I mean, I love that you and I are both part of outdoor ministries, and I want to join like supporting your outdoor ministry now too. But and that's the thing, I've got to find where I feel the best. And I have a servant leader role there with being the fish cleaning captain and, the live musician sometimes and kind of the prayer master sometimes. I've never emceed one of those events, but every time I'm there, it's good. And God always provides. God always shows up in the most mysterious ways, and there's always enough for everybody.
Right.
That even if we had a light fishing weekend, some of us will bring fillets to kind of throw in from our freezer, that we caught in the lake before the last event. But it's one of those things where you're just like, God always makes sure that it's like the loaves and the fishes,
Right.
to equate it back to another Christian, story. And the fact that there was nothing and then there was everything. Kind of like, I'm going to get deep here for a minute. Is this okay?
That's fine.
Since we already, outdoor ministries. Okay, here we go. Think about one thing science and religion and most different types of religions will agree on, and that is the Big Bang Theory, all right, or the creation story, however you want to call it, whether 7 days was 7 24-hour days or if time was different to God, resting on the third day. All the things are from the first 5 books of Moses. But think about the bang. And all of a sudden we all agree, even those that are atheists, even those that are of a religious faith or a different religious faith than Yeshua's, we all ended up agreeing on the same thing because there was nothing and then there was everything. And we think about possibly tens of 1,000 billion galaxies are formed, right, in one instance. Okay, so that means that certain things like what we call, our reality, can all differ because we are human consciousness and we breathe in. We cannot be without breath. You can be without water for days. You can be without food for weeks. You cannot be without breath for more than 4 minutes. You go unconscious. Breath, even in comatose state, is the consciousness, human consciousness that we all share in. The outdoors is our human consciousness, reality, unified, all out there for us to enjoy and consume, okay? The only reason why Christians eat wild pork is because of a dream that Peter had in Acts that, this bed sheet came down and he had a dream. Some people don't believe near-death experiences. Some people don't believe everything else. But one thing we can agree on is that there was nothing, and I don't even know how to define nothing because nothing is nothing, and then there's everything. So when that happens, I figured you'd get a kick out of this. Think of the fact that we have a trinity of trinities born, okay? Not just a religious trinity of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, all that stuff like the Catholic and Christian faith. I'm talking about the trinity of trinities. You have length, height, width. You have solid, liquid, gas. You have all kinds of trinities born of those trinities because we have a 3-dimensional world.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Doesn't mean there couldn't be more than 3 dimensions, all right? But we have we're third rock from the sun, a 3-dimensional reality, all right? But look at the trinities. I mean, the thing is, tell me that something's not 3 things.
I can't do that.
So just think about it. You have length, width, height,
right?
Solid, liquid, gas. Let me think of some other things. It's just, and then you look out here. Last night, I was going to tell this story when Chester was here, but I'm going to tell it right now. You ready for this, Camille?
I'm ready.
All right, so last night I decided to go out night fishing. No flashlight, no headlamp. I had a little Arctic breeze thing to kind of keep the air circulating up to my head because I was kind of overheating part of yesterday. And so I get out there, and all of a sudden a song comes in my head, 1,000 Miles from Nowhere by Dwight Yoakam. My most favorite childhood fishing memory wasn't just the time my dad took a boys from Boys Town, an orphan in Boys Town, troubled family background given to the state pretty much. It's like a state ward that's grant funded, I think. But either way, he took that kid fishing. He took that kid with his old fishing buddy, JP, and they gave him the rod and reel from that event. And my dad said, I bet that kid still has that rod and reel and remembers that.
Yeah.
I that's the only time my dad, who leans a little narcissistic, you know, I love the guy. I love my dad so much. That's the first time I really got to see service in action and got to see the outdoors as healing. And ever since then, these soldiers that have PTSD, multiple deployments, combat frontline infantry duty, all right, they've seen bombs go off. Some of them have physical disabilities. Most of them have mental and emotional disabilities.
TBI is a very...
TBIs, yes.
Yeah.
So TBI is a big one in ours too.
And being out on the water, being out in the outdoors, is a quiet, calming. You know, you think of white noise, you think of blue noise, you think of green noise. Think of it that way. It's a way for them to get out and just relax, just be
In peace.
in peace, and you know, and let go of the day to day for a few minutes. It doesn't make problems go away,
No.
but it does.
It's like a release valve. That's what I've described it before to the folks that listen to this podcast. Like, it's a release valve for me. It's my way to, and I talked about some guests to this about yesterday about this, letting go into nature. Just letting your problems evaporate as the wind blows. And last night I go outside, I think of 1,000 Miles of Nowhere. I think about 1994 August when my dad took me catfishing because the mayflies were thick that summer. Okay. I had just started summer band, 1,000 Miles from Nowhere. Remember that song? All right. That song's playing on his old 72 Dodge pickup truck that's pulling the 16-foot Terry Bass boat with a 75 Johnson. Okay.
Yeah.
Old school. I had that boat all the way through my college years that he gave to me when he upgraded to a Skeeter. But a Terry Bass boat, it was 16 feet. And I think maybe it's a 65 Johnson, kind of like the 65 Johnson. Okay, you know, that song. So the thing is, we drive down there, best night of fishing in my life, aside from some bow fishing adventures, which mainly all happen at night. Those are incredibly gratifying too, but they remind me of that same night. We were down at Hot Shots, which was kind of a honky-tonk marina. All right, they had a bar, kind of just no liquor, just beer. And that was what I remember. Some bar at the 90s, like the old country song goes, you know, that's what I remember of. That's the 90s bar I remember. That and McQueenie Marina, which, you know, I grew up in New Braunfels. So this part of the world, you know, like those mean something to me. And we lost Hot Shots, but I don't even know what side of the lake is because you can't access the lake anymore because private landowners have bought the entire thing out, including the old McQueenie Marina. That's now private property. And I sat there and said, okay, I'm going to have to figure this out because Hot Shots got washed away in the flood of 1998. And I'm just like, but I remember it. It is baked into my reality. And last night I walked out there, and that's a song I heard. Dwight Yoakam's 1,000 Miles from Nowhere. And I felt all those things. I wrote an article called McQueenie Sunrise, kind of including this trip in it, in that story, which was real, you know. It's what got me into loving fishing, writing about fishing, everything that I did in fishing. Later on, my dad taught me about hunting, and I learned a lot on my own and from some great mentors I still have. And I produce Mr. Whitetail's podcast now. You know, I'm a big deal, you know. I like being it's not about Dustin. It's about the outdoors, you know. Yeah. It's about the best of the outdoors. But we caught, the mayflies were thicker than normal. We went under boat docks. And the lights were on. This is before we had green lights, guys. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Green dock lights to bring the shad. Lucky. We had white lights. The mayflies were attracted to them, okay? They were still the old halogen bulbs. This is, 1994. And so here I am talking about this like the old days. I promised I would not be, I would not be like this. Because now I've got a 16-year-old son. Where did all the time go? All right. But the mayflies were so thick.
My kids are 30.
I know, don't. I'm 46, and kind of like Jeff Foxworthy's joke about, I want my dad not to wear the over 40 and feeling foxy T-shirt anymore. Embarrassed him when he was young. I was like, that's hilarious. I could just see a dad wearing a shirt like that. Go on, Dad. Like a 40-year-old adult going, well, now I'm almost over 40 and feeling foxy.
I threw away a lot of OP shorts.
OP short, yes. the logo just came into my mind,
Yes.
into my reality. So,
Yes. And my husband.
Shorts.
For when my daughter failed to understand the importance of going to tutoring one morning, my husband decided to walk her in with a pair of, it flashback here. Does everybody remember the titties sandals? So he had on a pair of titties, cut off.
This is an outdoor podcast. It's okay to say this.
Yeah,
I'm going to mark this one explicit just in case somebody misheard that.
Yeah. Cut off sweatpants and a shirt with no sleeves to make an impression on her.
Oh, that's a good parenting story, folks. Are you paying attention to this?
So, but getting back to the podcast, bringing people into the outdoors, we have, it resonated with me when Jim Dolan, our founder, first, he came to a kayak fishing school that my husband was teaching with Dean Thomas down in Aransas. And he said, I really think that this kayak fishing thing would be really good for guys with TBIs. So for those that don't know,
traumatic brain injuries, yes.
traumatic.
Sorry, I let you say it one more time in case you didn't hear. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. And so
traumatic brain injuries. Just
yes.
make sure that's clear. Yes,
Yeah.
TBIs, as is also known as.
And so he went up to Brooks Army Medical Center up in San Antonio, where he spent a lot of time. And he asked the recreational therapist, can I take a group of guys down? Well, we had some phenomenal volunteers that said, hey, you want to bring a group of guys down? We'll help guide, right? We'll go out with you. Another friend of ours said, hey, I've got a family lodge down there. We'll let y'all all stay there.
Right.
So they took these 9 guys down on Friday night. Everything was quiet. They were all spoken to, but not really,
just kind of,
there.
Yeah, not silent, but not loud and rowdy either.
Yeah,
okay, right.
not like this crowd here.
We have a rowdy crowd here, folks.
And so, they, by Sunday afternoon, a couple of days on the water and spending some time in a classroom type setting with them, we couldn't shut them up.
Remember Chatty Cathy
Oh,
dolls?
yeah.
There's another old one, friends.
They wanted to do was talk about their fishing, talk, to each other, give each other a hard time. And
like guys sometimes do, and women too. I think women are harder than on other women than men are on men.
The way the recreational therapist described it was they were acting like a unit again.
A unit. Okay, I love this.
Yeah, because
listen to this story, guys. This is awesome. Don't miss this. Outdoor therapeutics.
It is. So if you think about a medical unit, when they get injured, they're sent to a medical unit. They're taken away from their regular unit and they're sent to a medical unit. They may all come from different places. They may not all come from the same place. They don't know each other. And so this week got them together in this setting, and they started working together as a unit. So when they went back to their treatment, they were excited about their occupational therapy, their recreational therapy. What did they need to do next? They were giving each other a hard time. They were encouraging each other. They were acting as a unit again, and they were excited about the next steps. And for Jim and the recreational therapist, what we had done is replaced that black wall that they had built up because they'd been injured. They were coming back. They had left their unit. They felt there's a lot of feelings there for them, and they don't want to share them for a lot of reasons. They don't want somebody to feel sorry for them. They don't want to burden anybody. They don't want to be the one that whines about their situation. All of these things are going through their heads, and different ones have different ways of looking at it. But what that event did for them was gave them something safe and comfortable to talk about, and people that they trusted to be around to get there.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's so cool.
Thank you. So what our program strives to do is to give veterans, first responders, and their family members a community. So a typical event for us is everybody meets, you get introduced to the kayak, we find out everybody's level, do a safety briefing, introduce them to their kayaks and their guides for the day. We try to at least do 2-to-1, 3-to-1, novice to guide, depending on the body of water and where they're fishing. But anyway, get all of that settled. They go out and fish for 3 or 4 hours. They come back on shore and everybody breaks bread together.
Oh, nice.
And that is a very critical part of our program because that's that community
Mealtime.
part.
Yeah, that's mealtime. And that is such a beautiful thing because it is for crosswaters as well, just to relate it back to my outdoor ministry experience, when you break, and that's the thing with so many things, to your point about, that being such a special time, what other time is more precious than a community literally breaking bread together, okay? Eating together.
Exactly.
And the communal part of eating is one thing that's there's no animal on the planet, there's no other form of intelligent life that we're aware of that can cook its own meal and then feed itself that cooked meal. We have to feed dogs, you got to feed the cats, you got to feed the goats, got to feed the you know what I'm saying? But they can't cook for themselves.
Right.
That's why it's such a precious time for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in this, it gives them a chance to meet the people they've been out on the water with, tell stories, tell their fishing stories. And I like to tell this one story about a women's veterans event that I went to up in Arkansas that one of our chapters hosted. Taught to 2 women who had driven each of them had driven 3 hours to get to that event. Having a women's only event was very important to them. And so they get there, they go out, they do the kayak thing, they're fishing, they're hanging out, they come back on shore. We're all sitting around talking and getting to know one another. And these 2 ladies realized that they lived in the same neighborhood. They each drove 3 hours to this event. Wow. They were both veterans. And if you haven't talked to a women veteran, they're a little different.
Yeah.
Community, and then some of them will not tell you they served.
Right. They don't want you necessarily to know more than you need to know about them.
Exactly.
That's the best way I can explain it. They're a little guarded. Maybe.
Very much. And a lot of that has to do about, the way they were treated early on in the military and things like that. We won't get into that. But now they realize they live in the same community. They're now attending events together. They're now going fishing together. They're, traveling all over Arkansas doing other women's events together. That was a connection that was only made because they met at that women's only Heroes on the Water event. Those are opportunities and things that happen all over. So we're 55 chapters. Last year we did 487 events across the U.S. All of our volunteers are committed to our mission and are just wonderful stewards of our resources, of wanting to give back to this community. Some of them came from the community and they want to give back. It's something that we're very proud of doing for 17 years now. So we've been around for a long time. Yeah. And, we're looking for more communities to go into. We're always looking for volunteers to get involved. Since we started counting our numbers, which we learned we had to do for grant purposes.
Oh, of course, yeah. They all want the grant readers want the grant writers to explain.
Yeah, exactly. So we started keeping track. And since we started keeping track about 2014, we have served over 71,000 veterans and first responders. And over, I think, 54,000 family members.
That's huge. I mean, that is just...
Yeah.
So why not support this woman? Like, this is obviously huge. I mean, look at how many people you've already helped and look at how many more people.
We would love to be.
Let this be part of your personal ministry if you feel led to it. Okay,
exactly.
This is part of it. Leon, just my audience, hear me. It's your buddy Dustin here. Okay, be good to each other, and then contribute to programs like this that help other people in the outdoors. See that the outdoor is outdoor therapy to them. I'm not just making fun and just saying trigger therapy. No. This therapy is what people need. Help them discover the outdoors by helping this ministry. That's what I want to say to promote you, at least when it comes to this stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. You do not have to necessarily be a veteran or a first responder with, an obvious, challenge.
Right.
My husband used the outdoors as a coping mechanism during his 23 years.
Sorry, that's just me. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing good.
His 23 years on the Houston Police Department, he used outdoor therapy, but he grew up hunting and fishing.
Right. He understood in an early age like I did. Yeah.
He did. He felt the difference. He knew what he needed. What we're trying to do is introduce those people that didn't have that opportunity to what we already know about the outdoors. And if you know somebody that is struggling with transition or just transition, they seem to be doing fine, invite them to an event. Tell them about our program. Because, if nothing...
Why not? I mean, if you have a program happening in your area, and that's why I want you to get the social media info and everything like that here, because at least share it in some groups. That's what I'm going to start doing for you guys. Some Facebook groups, if you at a hunting club, community lodge, anything like that, where you can make an impact to help this program spread. I mean, just look at what you're doing, and just again, you can be part of just sharing.
Yes.
What you were doing. You don't have to necessarily show up and volunteer. Again, just take the time to tell other people about what this woman is doing.
Follow us at heroesonthewater.org. On all the socials, it's Heroes on the Water. If you search in Heroes on the Water, you'll see a lot of our chapters, Facebook pages as well. All of them, could use a little love on the sharing department. But if you want to follow us and then tag us when you see something going on.
That's the thing, tagging on Instagram or sharing in a Facebook group that you're a part of. I've shared like 10 groups at a time, but because I do marketing for the outdoors and I'm part of all the outdoor groups already.
Yeah, same.
But the thing is, like, if you run across these guys on social media, let it be a reminder to promote them. Okay, this is a great organization doing great things for, again, servants serving. Servants, you know what I'm saying? The leader, that's servant leadership. The leader, if you're a manager, if you're a CEO, entrepreneur, and all kinds of people from all walks of life, listen to this podcast. But whatever you are, whatever you were into, this is just obvious that this works so well. Share this with a friend. It's just like I tell you to tell everybody about the Best of the Outdoors podcast. Share this with a friend.
Yeah, please. I met a man the other day. I was talking to him at the Houston Fishing Show. Okay.
Yeah, I've been there many times. Chester, nobody notices me because Chester always gets all the people lining up to talk to him.
I have the same problem when I travel around with my husband. So when we were talking, they do a fishing tournament, and one of them was a veteran, and we started telling them about our program, and they said, our company, a family-owned business, it's been hosting a fishing tournament every year. They do 2 or 3 of them a year, and every year they hadn't been doing anything with the money but rolling it over to the next year's seed money. He goes, I think we need to do the tournament and make it a fundraiser for y'all.
Sure.
That's the thing to think about is even if it's a small tournament, find a chapter in your community.
Sure.
Here in the Houston metro area, South Texas, we have Beaumont, the Woodlands, Matagorda, Rockport, Coastal Bend, which is based out of Corpus, and then we go up to San Antonio, Killeen, Brazos River Valley, and DFW.
That's a heck of a gamut that you covered there.
But we still have a lot of holes in Texas.
I know. I'm just saying, so again, contact this wonderful woman and ask Camille if you would like, to start a chapter of your own in an area that may not be covered in your area, Texas or beyond. You can look this up and see what the chapter you can join or a chapter you might be able to even start.
Exactly. I'd love to
I
talk to you.
I love getting the word out about stuff like this and then sharing it, like screaming it from the mountaintops, because it's like, let stuff like this increase. Let's let all the commercialized, like, what do you call, the whole Hollywood hunter scene.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And let service in the outdoors. That's why I'm
Oh,
so
for
glad
sure.
that Derek lined you up for today. He knows what I do. He knows all about my ministry experience and stuff like that because of helping hurting kids in bereavement camps, Camp Agape of Texas, helping soldiers, which is you and I are united on. And then, and so our events are held at Lake Belton.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Friends and Neighbors events are held in Conroe, Lake Conroe.
Right.
That's where the big ones live. We always let the big catfish go away but you can catch a 60-pound catfish on a piece of cut shad that size. And I'm like, and the thing also, I wanted to bring this to, and then two more things and we'll be done. Or just one more thing and then another thing after that. So kayak fishing.
Yes.
Okay. You had some kayak whistles over here. I didn't realize that those came from y'all.
Yeah.
I thought Derek bought them, actually, to tell you the truth. I thought that the founder of this summit brought those, but that all makes sense. The one guy I had on the podcast one time back in, I think, 2019, people can go back and listen to this show and that episode, but he talked about there being an intimacy with the water, not just an intimacy with nature, but he says when you're in a boat, you're like a big boat, you're conquering the water. Okay, the way that boat moves, the way you cast your rod and land the fish. In a kayak, it's all right there, ground level. Even to sit on top kayak, which this guy was an expert in. Even I was ready after talking to him to go get me a sup board and put an engine on the back, like those BOTE, the boats.
Boat boards.
Yeah, boat boards. Yeah, and I was just like, give me about a 20 gallon or 20 quart ice chest, and I'll sit on top of that thing. And you talk about skinny water, baby.
I have one at home.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Oh, I'd love to go.
love it.
They call those skiff rigs, don't they, or something like that?
It's
the
similar to it,
skiff
yes.
boards or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. And then you can even pull your way if you can't get the
Exactly.
motor working, the little mini motor that runs it.
Yeah.
They'll probably come out with an electric version of that already, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
An electric boat motor, folks.
Garmin released a really cool motor last year at ICAST.
I haven't been to ICAST since the pandemic, but I was there all the way up to it, and we did some crazy podcasts there. Just me and Chester, and then Cal Gonzalez, who was the Texas Fishing Game at the time. Do you know Cal?
I do.
He's one of my best buddies. He's the one, we called that interview Total Chaos. What Scooby and I do at this summit, that's pretty much total chaos, but that was, again, they start the show. Oh, Dustin, best of the outdoors with that. You mean Dusty? Like Dusty Rhodes? Like the wrestler? They're both in the wrestling. That's their inside thing. And they start bringing up this inside, and then it's 2 against 1 on my own show when I'm the host. I was like, oh, you guys hijacked this thing. But it was so funny. And then Ardia,
I know Ardia well.
So Ardia was my boss at the time. And then Sandy, Cal's wife, Calixto's wife, are sitting there, and they're trying to stop laughing in the background. So they just are trying to quiet laugh while we're doing this. We streamed it live on Fish Games, Facebook, Texas Fishing Games Facebook page and fishgame.com. And it was just like, oh, I couldn't get through talking. I was laughing so hard. It was just great. All right. Last thing I'm going to say, and I'll let you have the final word, of course, like I try to, on these shows, but 1,000 miles from nowhere. What am I saying? It's been a long day already. 1,000 miles from nowhere, Dwight Yoakam. So I'm kind of weaving this story in through our podcast. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, back to kind of a new thing I'm trying, guys. Don't be too critical. This ties it up. Mayflies are thick, okay? And the lights are coming down. More mayflies are falling in the water. Catfish are just picking up, just sucking them all down. And then we start catching them on shrimp, left and right. TV shrimp from the freezer. Back in the day, you'd buy it, HEB. You remember that? I think they still have TV shrimp there. But that's what we would use for bait because it mimicked a group of mayflies. Mayflies. Think about like shell off. It stinks. You fish it like off a bobber, so it's elevated, And catfish says, oh, there's some I missed up there. Don't have to swim all the way to the top anymore. We caught a limit. That I've told this story today a couple of times before, but not on this show though, but just privately. And I said, so it made me think about last night. All right, 1,000 miles from nowhere is in my head. And I sit there and I said, man, this just feels, just casting out there, past, present, and future. I'm sitting there going, here I am, remembering that from 1994, however long it was, over 30 years ago. And it's just beautiful. As the day I was there, I felt that excitement. I was breathing in the wind to remember the past and look forward to the future and stay in the present.
I get it.
And so this is in my article, McQueenie Sunrise again, which is on my blog at warnkyoutdoors.com. So I reached back. I realized that the floating fish basket is... it's just kind of like it's stuck open because we're trolling, with the fish basket in the water. And it's one of those with the floating tops, not the straight wire ones, but one that the water did not flow through, obviously. A couple of catfish took a run for it. We had a limit. That basket was full. Good for them who escaped, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll never forget. This helped me in life. This is a fishing experience that helped me in life. J.P. Kessler, who is the man that was my dad's best friend, fishing buddy. I told you about the Boys Town story. They took He kind of a rough around the edges guy, but a cool dude. I mean, somebody you looked up to is that guy's a badass. Like, that guy's cool. And he's back in he used to always take a drag off a cigarette and close one eye, one of those kind of country, like Sam Elliott types. Yeah. And that's what he reminded me of looking back at him, Sam Elliott type. And so think of a Sam Elliott type sitting in the back of the boat with me. And I pointed to the basket and he took a drag off his cigarette. He said, Dustin, easy come, easy go. And that's so true. When you get out here, when you get out of the water like we're on here on these lakes that were behind us, the lodge, and you get out in the woods. Like I've been to the Hill Country earlier this week, on a hunt with Chester and Paul, and it all makes sense again. It's all therapeutic. It is starting to realize that we're all in one consciousness together. We can serve each other, and we can use the outdoor as our medium to serve each other.
Right. And you never know when an opportunity is going to arise to serve somebody else.
Right.
And I think that I took this job because I thought it was this time in my life. It was a mission I've always been passionate about since inception. But when, Scott and I moved out to the middle of nowhere, as I call it.
I live out in the country too. I understand that.
I said, this is my next phase. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to continue Jim's mission. Jim was a dear friend of ours. Mm-hmm. And I completely resonated with his mission because I watched it in my own household. I watched it work. And I realized after being in the outdoor industry for, I don't know, I guess I started working in the outdoor industry in 2005.
You got some years on me. It's okay. I still got 20 years in. Well, no, actually 2006. I started in 2006 with building websites and selling hunts. So I guess it has been that long.
Yeah. There you go.
We're getting old, man.
We're getting old. And working in the outdoors, I realized not everybody grows up the way I did. I can remember my dad taking me fishing. Yeah. Talking to Scooby.
Country folks.
Yeah.
Country folks can't survive, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Talking to Scooby. I spent my summers on Toledo Bend. I spent a lot of weekends on San Bernard River. But not a lot of people get that. And what I love about our mission is that we will bring everything. We bring all the equipment. You don't have to bring anything but put on some sunscreen, dress appropriately, and make sure you got a fishing license.
Which is also a contribution towards conservation when you buy a fishing or a hunting license.
Right. Well, and veterans, depending on what state they're in, there's certain certain.
Yeah, that's right. But
Yeah.
either buy a fishing license, everybody, and a super combo for the state of Texas. So that way we support Texas conservation by the state at least. You know, we're talking fisheries, you know, all kinds of
Game
biological
wardens.
study, game wardens. Everybody's got to eat, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But, me doing this now and being able to take some of the experience I have, some of the talents that I have, and help those who want to serve others is why I do it. I get a big high out of helping somebody figure out how to serve somebody else.
I love this.
So, if your community does not check our website,
Yep.
heroesonthewater.org. You can look under locations and find our map of where we are. There's also links below the map to each of our chapters. On their own webpage, you'll see where they fish, all their contact information. Most of them have upcoming events listed on there as well. If you do not see a chapter in your community and you know somebody that is passionate about kayak fishing and wants to serve others, send them my way. I'll talk to them about what it takes to start a chapter.
Yeah.
It may or may not work out, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's the thing. Like, I just take some steps towards supporting an organization like this. This organization in particular, when I say it like this, because you've got amazing, potential to grow this thing even further when you get out, especially in new media like podcasting. And you guys that listen to this know how to share things. Come on, man. Find their website, find their Facebook, social media. Yeah, share some stuff on your page, profile, stories, whatever, and then share them. Share them in the communities that you are in, the cliques, so to speak, the outdoor lifestyle that you're into.
Yeah, if you want to hear some phenomenal stories, we have a lot of interviews on our site with our participants and with some of our volunteers. And if some of that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will.
Inspiration is inspiration. And when it comes to the outdoors, and most of my community know that I have another podcast called The Empowered Life with Dustin Vaughn Warnke, a personal growth podcast, big surprise by the name. But, that's the thing. It's about inspiring through the outdoors for me. Like, that's really I guess you could call it one of my core mission statements, like kind of at the core of who I am and what I do. It's inspiring excellence through the outdoors. Yeah. And when we can be in a position where we can help support, something like this, the Heroes on the Water to do great things, either by our time, our talent, and our treasure. And in this particular instance in time, we have spent our time together, role-playing about the stories of the outdoors and the stories of how lives are changed by outdoor service. Yep. On both sides. Yeah. On both sides. Yeah. And that's beautiful.
It is. It's a wonderful thing.
Trying not to get emotional here. It's just these have been some great stories we talked about.
It has been. I had Bill in tears earlier. But
some of us get emotional. That's it.
And it's okay because, like I said, we want to introduce as many people to what we sometimes take for granted. It's part of our lifestyle.
Sure.
We want to introduce more to what we already know. And a kayak is easy. People get scared. It's not. A 35-inch kayak, sit on top kayak is easy, folks.
It's not like the old kayaks that used to be the kind that you would see guys go down waterfalls with, like the river, the sit light water kayaks and the river rapid riding kayak. No, don't be scared of running one of these over. Some of those the sit on top ones, I couldn't try to turn over. I tried to do one in the podcast, our outdoor riders or outdoor media summit that I went to. And that was the guy that taught me about the intimacy of fishing versus not conquering the beast of the water.
Right.
We're catching inshore redfish or whatever. I've had some people that cast out, and they use the kayak to take their bait if they're beach fishing or
Surf
bank
fishing.
surf fishing or whatever. And they take a kayak out there to run the chum.
Right,
And then to run that, if you never, no matter, you don't know what you'll bring in from deep water doing that. But like that, there's so many uses, and they're a lot more stable than they used to be. Is what I'm trying to tell our listeners. If you haven't been around the sit on top kayaks, the sup boards or whatever they call the skiffs, those kind of skiff boards. The world of that has changed probably about, 8 years ago. Everything just went wild with, then you have even inflatable skiff boards. The boat made one of those too.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how comfortable I would feel getting across with a motorized.
Too
much fun.
You would be surprised. But
Too much fun.
The industry, and I could get into the history of kayaking.
It's a long one. We'll save that for another show.
Yeah, we'll say, because it's come a long way since the early 2000s.
Sure.
I will say that. That's not where kayak fishing started, regardless of what a lot of people think. But that's when it became more of a known sport in our world. Yeah. But it has changed a lot.
I'm sure it has.
And it has changed to accommodate the kayak angler, the new kayak angler, and the concerns that people have about being on a kayak. So they're more stable, they're more comfortable. You frame seats in most of them now, so you have the bend in your knee and don't have the lower back. All of that, and the boats that we use in our program are boats that I know are comfortable for the majority of the people.
Sure.
A lot of our chapters also have access to adaptive equipment. If you need help getting in and out of a boat, if you're going from a wheelchair, you have that ability.
Yeah,
but
the gear is going to be there for you to help them out. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of our chapters keep 1 or 2 pedal drives for those that are challenged with paddling. We have tandem boats for those that are just challenged, period, and want to get out there. We can take them out in a tandem. There's a lot of ways to get them on the water. We just want to get them at an event to where they can experience it for themselves. Trust me, they'll come back.
Absolutely.
Who
wouldn't come back to that? I mean, like I say, just let the outdoors and God and and your servants, your servant leaders do the work. Beautiful.
I can't go without telling Jason Austin's story. So
please.
Jason works for me now. He is one of my volunteer program coordinators. Jason is an Army veteran with a Purple Heart. Cool thing, you'll like this.
Oh, yeah.
His Purple Heart's been to space and back.
Oh my gosh.
It went to the Space Center.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Jason spent 900 days in the hospital following a Humvee, his Humvee getting blown up.
IED explosion or something like that, yeah.
And when he came home, his life was not what he expected it to be. And he had a lot of challenges.
Or hoped it to be, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he had a lot of challenges and was about to make a really bad decision. One of our volunteers over in Florida called him and said, hey, I hear you might want to go fishing. Me and a couple of buddies are going tomorrow. Why don't you go with us? And he decided to go. He came home after that trip, sold all of his guns, and bought a kayak. I can tell his story all day long, but if you want to look on YouTube, go search Jason Austin Army on YouTube. And he has multiple places where he's told his story. He's been a spokesperson for us ever since then.
A true veteran. I mean, a combat veteran, front lines, like it's blowing up, and here is a testimony of the brilliance of the outdoors for heroes on the water. This is wonderful.
Yeah, that's why he works for us now, is because he is passionate about what it did for him. And
fishing saved his life, literally.
Exactly. I have a lot of friends that will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I've heard it from a lot of people too.
Yeah, and it's one of those where that one phone call.
Yep. That changed everything.
It changed
the whole trajectory, because here's now a front man for you that is not just a front man because he's been disabled and everything like that, but how the outdoors and the Heroes on the Water has changed his life and made his life, and how fishing can heal your soul. And fishing can add value to your life, the outdoors, all of it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. And at over 22 veterans a day committing suicide.
Yeah, so sad.
Think about who's in your area, who's in your circle, who's in your community. Don't hesitate to reach out, but share our program. But if nothing else, pick up the phone and call and say, how you doing today, man? You want to go grab lunch? You want to go grab coffee? Just check on them.
I love it. I love it. Just, again, that's part of what have you done for your fellow man. Take care of each other.
Exactly.
And it takes somebody hunting. Again, I had Chad on here with Able Outdoors. Chad was, is a quadriplegic, and here he is getting around with his wheelchair and everything like that. And he had given up. No. I mean, there are people that are severely disabled that can enjoy outdoor activities with some of the products, some of the opportunities that he affords for the disabled to be able.
Right.
Same idea. It's not too late. Everybody's got a shot. Exactly. Everybody deserves a future. Everybody deserves, to be able to go and enjoy the outdoors no matter what condition. If they're conscious, they can enjoy the outdoors.
Exactly.
That's one thing we can all share.
We have a female officer up in Fort Worth that was shot in the line of duty and is paralyzed. Her department was very sweet. Not all departments are that sweet, but she still has a job. But she is in a wheelchair. And we had her out to an event, and we got her onto a kayak. She has to go onto a tandem so somebody can help her.
Sure.
But she said that was the first time since the shooting that she had felt normal.
Oh, wow.
She was doing something that she did as a kid growing up.
It made sense.
And she was out, she was fishing. She couldn't feel that her legs didn't work. She didn't feel, she was sitting.
It brought her back. Just like me and it's so funny that dovetails from my memory of when I'm throwing the wind is blowing on me during the daytime yesterday, and I'm out that little, Gulf Island or whatever. We got out that little peninsula that shoots out there and divides the part of the lake, and I'm just letting it all come in. I'm just letting it all the energy come into me, and I'm like, I've missed you so much. I haven't been fishing. I need to do this more often, and we forget sometimes. Life takes us away, but then we remember. I love that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
You're the best. I appreciate you. Check her out. I'll put everything in the show notes. You guys know where to find those. Read the description and everything else. If this is on YouTube, check out the video on YouTube. It'll be in the show notes. All right. Thank you guys so much, and have an awesome day in the outdoors.